Hello, hello. Good morning. So we are in supply. So quickly. So yesterday in supply we have started with goods definition. Goods means every kind of mobile property. So if it is a mobile property, it can be called as goods. But it excludes money and securities. Includes growing crops, actionable claims, growing crops, grass and things attached to the land which are agreed to be separated before making supply. Okay. Then money includes not just the legal tender, the cash. It even includes cash equivalents like bills of exchange, promissory notes are also part of money. Then service. Service means what? Anything other than good, money, security is called as service. Now, one more point we discussed is what? Even though it is a transaction in money, if it involves use of money or conversion of money in one form to another, for which a separate consideration has been charged. Okay? It includes like conversion of money in one form to another, one currency to another, one denomination to another, for which if a separate consideration is charged, then it is what? Service. Even directly buying and selling shares is not a service. Buying and selling shares is not a service, but facilitating or arranging a transaction in securities is called as service. Malli attack plan chestunnadu. Then exemption, sir. We discussed here an exemption also. What is the exemption there? Interest, discount. Interest on loans and advances exempted. Discount on bills discounted also exempted. So interest and discount is exempted. This is important, sir. In this chapter only, to discuss about the clarification, this part will be important. Interest and discount are individually what? Exempted. Then we discussed about related persons. Who are called related persons? They are members of the same family. Like family means here what? Spouse, children, micro family. They are dependent or independent part of family. But whereas parents, brothers and sisters, grandparents, these are family only when they are wholly or mainly dependent. Then if one person is acting as a director or officer of another person, then both are called as what? Related persons. Then third one, legally recognized partners, employer and employee. Then more than or equal to 25% voting power. Then if we can control the entity, the next one, the third person directly or indirectly controls both of them, or this person and another person together controls a third person. Then when such person is acting as a sole agent or distributor of the other, these are called as what? Related persons. Then distinct person. Distinct person means what? Sir, a person, because of any reason, if he has multiple GST registrations but are linked with the same PAN, then each of such registration has to be treated as a distinct person. Not only this, you have two places, two establishments, like two factories and all. One is required to be registered and registered. The another is not required to be registered, so it remained unregistered. But these two are in two different states. Still, these two establishments also has to be treated as what? Distinct persons only. Then consideration. What is consideration? Consideration means any payment made or agreed to be made, whether in money or otherwise, in relation to supply of goods, services or both, whether by recipient or by any other person, but shall not include any subsidy given by central and state government. Fine, this one, everybody understanding? Okay. Then, consideration even includes the monetary value of any act or forbearance to act is also consideration. The monetary value of any act or forbearance to act is also called as consideration. Then works contract. What is works contract? Works contract means it's a contract related to immovable property. It involves both supply of goods and services. Okay. Then taxable person. Who is called a taxable person? A person who is registered or who has the liability to register is called taxable person. Then business means any trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, occasion, adventure, wager or any other similar activity, whether or not for a monetary benefit. Okay, whether or not for a monetary benefit. Any trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, occasion, adventure, wager or any other activity. Then even incidental to the above transactions are also called business, irrespective of volume, continuity and frequency. I mean, how many transactions you do, how frequently you do, how continuously you do, okay, it is irrelevant. Even if you do one transaction also, still it can be called as what? A business. Then business even includes like clubs, associations, societies providing facilities to their members. Sir, actually if you remember, this point we can connect it to which part of supply, sir? 7 subsection 1 clause A. What we said there? Any person, 7 subsection 1 clause A, if you remember, any person other than individual is transacting with any of their members or constituents for cash or deferred payment amounts to supply. So here these associations providing facilities to their members for cash or deferred payment amounts to what? Supply only. It is business and even it is a supply. Okay. Then admission of persons into premises for a consideration. Parks, museums, this will come. Then activities of race club by a totalizator. Totalizator means the one who organizes the race is called as totalizator. Then transactions undertaken by government in which they are engaged as public authorities. So when government undertaking any transactions, those are also called as what? A business. Then we started with section 7, supply. It's okay. So supply, we have 3 sections. I mean within 7, 3 main things. 7 subsection 1, 7 subsection 1A, 7 subsection 2. Under 7 subsection 1, our job is to decide whether it is such transaction is a supply or not. Okay, supply. Then 7 subsection 1A we go and we further decide whether such supply is a supply of good or supply of service. Third one, sir, you cleared step 1, you cleared step 2, I mean 7.1 cleared, 7.1A cleared, but still if 7 subsection 2 consists of a list of transactions which we call them as negative list. If your transaction, even though it satisfied first, second layers or second steps, but still if it is fit into the negative list, then it is not a supply of good nor supply of service. Understand? So the transaction should satisfy these two and shouldn't be covered under the negative list. Are you able to understand? Any transaction should satisfy 7 subsection 1, 7 subsection 1A, but should not fit into negative list to call it as a supply. So now first we started discussing what? 7 subsection 1. Under 7 subsection 1 we have 4 subsections. Clause A, clause AA, clause B, clause C. 7 subsection 1 clause A. Supply includes sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, lease, rental, disposal. Sir, what does it mean by disposal? Once again I am repeating. Disposal means, sir, sale means normal stock, raw, whatever are your usual stock, that if you sell, that is called what? Sale. But when you are selling your fixed assets, like, so I said even an example also. Let's say, sir, a grocery store, selling groceries is sale. But they are selling the racks they have, weighing machines they have, or the billing systems they have. Then it comes under disposal. Or second one, when they were thinking of to close the shop, then as a bulk they are selling, okay, as a lot, okay, they are selling like all the groceries take together for 1 lakh, 2 lakh, like bulkly they are selling. then also it can be called as or referred as what? Disposal. Okay, so disposal also here with consideration only. So sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, lease, rental, disposal happening. It is carried out by a taxable person. Who is called taxable person? Person registered or who has the liability to register. Okay, carried out by a taxable person for a consideration. And the transaction should be related to goods, services or both, and in the course or furtherance of business. Sir, 99% of the transactions we see will cover under this general criteria only. They will fit into the definition of supply. Then for that other 1% of transactions only, we have AA, B and C also. Now 7 subsection 1 clause AA, we already said. Any person other than individual carrying activities or transactions with their members or constituents for cash or deferred payment, it amounts to supply. If you want to connect the example, that crackers association collecting money from members and then they buying crackers and distributing them to the members. So that example. Principle of mutuality will not apply. So what is principle of mutuality? Firm and partners considering as same, AOP members considering as same is called as what? Principle of mutuality. That does not apply. Then 7 subsection 1 clause B is about what? Import of services for a consideration is also supply. Import of services for a consideration is supply, irrespective of in the course or furtherance of business. Irrespective of in the course or furtherance of business. Okay, so import is there, then it amounts to what? Supply. Okay, if there is consideration. But even in 7 subsection 1 clause C also there is another thing. Okay, 7 subsection 1 clause C is about what? Transactions which are treated as supply even though there is no consideration. There also import of service is there. So altogether, to mix 7(1)(b) point and 7 subsection 1 clause C point with respect to import of service is there. What we need to check? Consideration is there or not there? Consideration is there. First it is supply. Taxable or exempted, again we'll decide. Import of service for a consideration, it is supply. Without consideration, we need to check 2 conditions. What are those 2? They should be related persons. Second one, and such supply should be in the course or furtherance of business. When those 2 conditions are satisfied, supply. Otherwise, not a supply. This side, import of service for a consideration, it is supply. Then we need to check who is the importer. If the importer is government, charitable entity, individual, and these are importing other than for business purpose, okay, other than for business purpose, and it is other than OIDR service, then that is what? Exempted. Sir, once again I am repeating, sir. Import of service for a consideration, supply. But if the importer is government, charitable institution, individual other than for business purpose, and it is other than OIDR service, then it is exempted. Okay, no, sir? The rest all, if they are taxable, taxable under RCM, except OIDR related. So, okay, so now we are continuing with other points, sir. Sir, I am giving a briefing of job work concept. What is called job work, sir? There will be a principal, okay, and here there will be a job worker. What will happen? This principal will supply goods or capital goods to job worker. Job worker carries the job and returns. Job worker carries the job and returns. Principal sends what? Goods, capital goods to job worker. Job worker returns them to principal. Okay. See, when principal send to job worker any goods, it is supplier, not a supplier? Not a supply. If you remember the job work, but still, principal is sending sir, let's say, sir, I'm a car manufacturer, but the painting process and all I will not do. I'll give it to someone, some expert. Okay, so that's why all these goods all that car parts and all I have sent it to job worker. Now he do the painting and again sends back. So now whatever the machinery spare parts I sent it to the job worker, that is not supply. And after job work, if he returns also, it is not a supply. Okay, this job worker for doing that painting activity, he'll ask money, right? Let's say he is charging some 50,000 as job work charges. From job worker point of view, that job worker charges amounts to supply because he is getting consideration. What is not supply? Me sending that goods or machinery or that paint to that particular job worker is not a supply. And after processing or manufacturing, job worker returning them is also not a supply. Everybody agree for this? Are able to understand, sir? And I given the common examples which we see also. Okay, this Ambika Darbar Batti example, if you remember. So how do they manufacture those? Sir, is there any other name for Sambrani sticks in English? Agarattulu. I'll ask ChatGPT. Matchsticks and agipulal. Incense sticks used for fragrance. Incense sticks. Okay, I'll ask in Hindi also, because English also. What? Agarbatti only in Hindi also. In Telugu also, yes, agarbatti, okay. See, here locally there is a agarbatti manufacturing company. Sir, everybody knows, right? What is agarbatti? In English, these are called as incense sticks. In Telugu, we call as Sambrani Pulalu. If anybody don't know, tell your language also. We'll ask ChatGPT, we'll tell the name also. Odia, what it is called? Tuppakatti. Odia. In Tamil? Sambrani. Okay. So I said Tamil, Odia, English, Hindi, Telugu. Kannada? Okay, in Kannada also agarbatti. So we don't have a Kerala student here. Hello all. Respond. Those who are in live. Waiting for your messages. It's okay. Assuming you understand, I'm continuing, sir. So here, Ambika Agarbatti manufacturing company is there. How do they manufacture now? For this agarbatti, in Tamil it is Udabatti. Check, but people understand even Sambrani also. So here we have one Tamil expert from Erode, no? Okay, you are from Rameshwaram. Okay. Ambika Agarbatti. So these people, sir, they'll give it on job work. Like what? That powder, that fragrance powder, chemical powder, sticks, plus packing material, everything they'll give to the job worker. So job worker are nothing but the women, mostly the women who are like housewives, not going for any other full-time work, they'll take them on job work. So what is their job? They'll take all this and in a week or in 10 days time, they'll roll that powder to those sticks manually and then for every box some 25 or 50 depending on the requirements, they'll pack them, and again job worker returns them to the principal or brand owner. Okay, now this activity of the women, whatever the activity they are doing is called as what? Job work. Now what is not called supply? Here Ambika Agarbatti is a principal, job worker is an agent. Now this chemical powder sticks, this packing material, when they are sent to principal to job worker or principal to agent, is there any consideration? No, there is no consideration. Without consideration, this job worker came and taken these materials, and then again without consideration they are returning. Sir, for the activity, yes, for the processing activity they are taking, but when you send the chemical powder sticks to plant and machinery, that packing material, you are not collecting any money from them. Okay, why you are not collecting any money? Because you are in intention like they are going to return it. Okay, so it's not a supply, and even job worker returning to them again is also not a supply. But if you remember, sir, there is a time limit also. Okay, even if you don't remember also, now you understand. This job worker has to return them within 1 year. Within 1 year inputs, I mean those other than capital goods, within 3 years the capital goods has to be returned. Okay, for do that, let's say a plant or a machine also has been sent. All those as can be used by job worker, and he has to return within what time, sir? Normal raw material and all na within 1 year, capital goods na within 3 years. If not, what happens? If not, if they didn't, if the principal fails to return within that period, then principal has to raise a invoice, considering it as what? Supply. But is there consideration? Is there consideration? Understand my point, sir. Principal sent raw material and this packing material to job worker. Why he sent? Assuming he'll process and give it back. Okay, so initially not a supply, but their job work provision says like what? That fellow has to return within 1 year, or capital goods na 3 years. Sir, there will be extended time limits also. Consider those extended time limits also. Job worker didn't return them. Now first initially it's not a supply, but what the provision says, if he didn't return within the time limit, then principal has to raise an invoice and it has to be treated as a supply. Sir, if it should be supply, sir, what I said now is under the section 143. Okay, the process which I said is now under the section 143. But who is section 143 to decide what is called supply? If anything is supply, it has to be decided by whom? Section 7. 143 has no right to decide what is called supply. So that means section 7 should cover even that point also to be called as supply. Sir, now again coming back to the essentials of supply. To call it as a supply, there should be sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, lease, rental, disposal. Okay, there is a transfer. Fine. Second one, by a taxable person. Assume the principal is a taxable person. They are goods and services only. In the course or furtherance of business only. But one thing is missing. For a consideration. Okay, you don't have any, you just sent them. Job worker didn't pay you anything. So without consideration, you sent this chemicals, sticks or machines to the job worker. Still it can be called as supply or not is the question. For that, schedule 1 came into picture and said like, transactions which are treated as supply even though there is no consideration. Here, principal given to job worker. Job worker has to return within what time? 1 year or 3 years. Sir, who will do job work activity more than that time, sir? Okay, if you have some raw material to do the processing and all, why you will take more than 1 year? That's why they give a reasonable time limit only. But if you are not returning within that time period means what? That might be you might have sold them. Okay, that's why what they are saying like, even though there is no consideration between them, still treat it as what? Supply. Still treat it as supply. So that's what schedule 1 first point. See, supply of goods between principal and agent is supply even though there is no consideration. But first when they given it is not supply. When it becomes supply? When the job worker didn't returns within the time limit only, it is supply. That's why here clarification said like what? Invoice is the determining factor. That means when there is invoice, that time only it is called as supply. If they didn't raise any invoice, that is not a supply. Sir, if you remember this example, when principal will raise invoice, when the job worker didn't returns within the times period specified, 1 year or 3 years, then only he will raise invoice. It will be called as what? Supply. Sir, sent goods from principal to job worker or any principal to agent, is it supply? Without consideration of, sir, with consideration, it is always supply. No doubt about it. Without consideration, principal sent goods to agent. Is it a supply? Straight away we cannot say it is a supply when there is no consideration. We can call it as supply only when invoice has been raised. If invoice is raised, then only it is supply. Okay, see here, principal sent to goods to agent. Agent supplied goods to customer. But invoice, principal didn't raise it to agent. What he did? He directly raised invoice to customer. In this case, agent just acting as a storekeeper. For convenience, sir, principal is in Chennai, whereas this agent is in Vijayawada. Okay, now customer went, Vijayawada customer went to this agent and asked for certain goods. Okay, so this agent delivering the goods. But bill will not be raised by agent. Who will raise in bill? Principal only raising the bill. Then this agent, even though he is there, technically, even though we are calling him as agent, but logically if you speak, he is not an agent. He is just his employee or a storekeeper only. Okay, because invoice is raised directly by principal. In this case, principal and agent not a supply. Agent and customer not a supply. Between principal and customer only it is supply. So between whom the invoice is there, those people are only called as that transaction is only called as supply, and those people are only called as supplier and recipient. Here agent, even though we call him as agent, technically is not an agent because he didn't receive invoice, he is not raising invoice. Yes, Vasanti. If job worker raised invoice is work, then it is service. Situation 2. Principal supplied goods to agent, no consideration. Agent selling those goods to customer. But in this case, what happening? Principal raising invoice to agent separately and agent again raising invoice separately in his name to customer. In that case, principal and agent relationship exists. So principal and agent also it is a supply. Even though no consideration, but what is there? Invoice is there, so it is supply. Agent and customer, anyhow customer pays money, there is consideration, so that is also supply. Between principal and customer, no direct relation, so it is not a supply. The interest and discount, sir. Look at this point. Bank given loan to A. Now A pays loan plus interest. Whether this interest taxable or exempted? Interest is what? Exempted. We already discussed. Interest and discount exempted. Now, a car showroom guy sold 25 lakhs worth car to A under hire purchase. When you go purchased under hire purchase, you will be paying it in what? Installments. So in the installments you will pay, only principal amount will be there, interest element also will be there. But then interest element exempted or taxable. Are you able to understand my point? Okay, so you purchase the car in EMI. Okay, the seller, instead of selling it for a lump sum single payment, he asked you to pay it in installments also fine. So he is collecting monthly certain amount. So what he is collecting will be only the car value, interest also will be there. Car value plus interest, right? You learned hire purchase. Hire vendor will sell the goods on hire based or hire system. Then the amount he is collecting as installments will collect both the good value and even the interest element also. But such interest exempted? No, not exempted. Why? That becomes composite supply. Why? Hires purchase system, they are not only, the vendor is not only selling goods, he is selling goods and even extending credit. But which is predominant? Sir, you are selling cars and even allowing to pay the customer in installments also. But your main Interest. Our main activity is to earn interest or to sell cars. To sell cars only, selling cars is only your main business. But to attract more customers, what you are giving? You are even allowing them to pay it in installments also. So your main activity is selling cars. Incidental activity is what? Earning interest. So which is composite supply, which is predominant activity. Selling cars is the predominant activity. So the tax rate applicable on car has to be levied on the total bundle. Yes, interest individually exempted. But here it is becoming what? It is a part of the bundle. And interest is not the principal supply. Interest is an incidental activity. In composite supply, how do we tax? There is a bundle. Sir, yes, I know we not yet completed composite supply. Some people might feel too advanced, but since it's a fast track batch, I assuming you know little basics of composite supply and proceeding with this. Okay. In composite supply, 2 or more goods and services supplied as a bundle. Here what are those two? Sale of car and offering credit are two which was bundled and supplied. Now out of these two, which is predominant? Selling car or supply of car is the predominant. So in composite supply, how do we tax? The tax rate applicable on principal supply has to be levied on the total bundle. If car is taxable at 12%, then the 12% has to be applied on the total bundle. So you understand? So car showroom sold 25 lakhs car under hire purchase. Now this guy pay car price plus interest bundled, which is a composite supply. Interest also taxable. Now this clarification, sir, it's about declaratory agent. Declaratory agent. Sir, if you remember agent definition, agent means broker, commission agent, mercantile agent, declaratory agent, okay, broker, auctioneer, declaratory agent, commission agent, mercantile agent, whatever the name you call. If he is acting on behalf of some other person to supply goods, services or to receive goods and services, then he is called as agent. Now specifically, who is called declaratory agent? I am principal. Okay, I am principal. Bharadwaj is my agent. He is in Hyderabad, I am in Bangalore. From Bangalore, I'll send goods to him. Okay, now there's a customer from Hyderabad who went to the agent. Now, sir, again saying, understand the example properly, sir. Me being the principal is in where? Bangalore. You being the agent, let's say you being the agent is in Hyderabad. Now a customer came to you in Hyderabad only. Do I know that customer personally? But you have a chance of knowing that customer personally because you both are from same place. But I am from Bangalore, I definitely don't know that customer. So that customer came to you. You means agent here. Came to you and is asking some discount or asking credit. Okay, he's saying like, see, anyhow we both know, right? So, okay, I don't have money now. I'll pay it after 3 months, like that he's saying. And you feel like he's a good person only, he'll pay on time also. You wanted to offer credit. The same thing you said to me. Because you are an agent, you called and said to me, like, there's a customer, I want to give 3 months credit. But do I know that customer personally? What I am saying simply, I don't know that customer and all, you only know. So I don't take any credit risk. You only bear the credit risk, I am saying. So when you are an agent and you accept credit risk, then you are called as a declaratory agent. You are an agent and you even accept credit risk. What is accepting credit risk? If some default happens, then that loss has to be paid by you only, not by me. Okay, then you are called as what? Declaratory agent. Sir, that means you have risk or not? Agent is having risk or not? So when there is risk, SFM logic, when there is risk, always there will be what? Premium. And there is risk, always there will be what? Premium. Here also, there is risk involved. So the agent will ask what? Extra money from the customer. Understand? So now see. Sir, now we are linking with the previous principal and agent relationship with the declaratory agent. This is a clarification. See. Principal sent goods to declaratory agent. Sir, this is situation 1. And declaratory agent given goods to customer and even offered credit extension, but invoice is raised directly by whom? Principal to the customer. See, in situation 1, principal sent directly goods to DCA. Principal sent goods to DCA. Sir, here two things, sir. Don't confuse with this diagram. This first part is situation 1 and then this part is situation 2. So in situation 1 what happening? Principal to DCA goods has been provided. Yes, goods is there. But principal to DCA no invoice. Invoice directly raised by principal to whom? Customer. So between principal and DCA no invoice, hence not a supply. Then DCA to customer. Declaratory commission agent to customer, goods are there. But invoice is there? No. Invoice directly raised by whom? Principal to customer. So goods moved, but invoice is not there. Hence it is what? It is not a supply. Goods is there, but no invoice, hence not a supply. Then DCA to agent, not only goods supply. There is extra what? Credit extension also there. Now for this customer has to pay interest also to whom? DCA. Now DCA got extra credit consideration what? Credit extension from customer to DCA. So when this is a separate service then. Sir, understand here what is happening now. Since invoice for goods is directly raised by principal, we need to assume like goods are supplied by principal. Agent is just offering what? Credit. For that he is getting what? Interest. Okay. So agent offered credit. Sir, understand my logic, everybody clear? Who is supplying goods? If invoice is raised directly by principal to customer, who is supplying goods? Principal. Even though handed over by agent, supplied by whom? Principal only. Who is offering credit? Principal or agent? Agent offering credit, supply made by, goods supply made by principal. Okay. Now agent, what he will get by offering credit? Interest. So, can we apply composite supply logic here is the question. Everybody be clear, sir. Can we apply composite supply logic? Sir, previously car example I said. There what happened? Car showroom guy sold car and even offered credit. So it became a bundle and interest element became taxable. Here also such bundling can be made or not is the question. Who supplied goods? Principal or agent? Principal. Agent offered what? Credit. So goods supplied by one person, credit offered by another person. So we cannot apply composite supply logic here. So agent supplied credit alone individually and he got interest as a separate transaction, not an incidental to the supply of goods. That's why here interest element is supply but exempted. It is supply but what? Exempted. Come to situation 2, it changes. In situation 2 what happening, sir? Principal raise an invoice to DCA, DCA will again raise invoice to customer. In that case, principal to agent, invoice is raised, it is supply. DCA to customer, invoice raised, it is supply for goods. So now what happening? Agent not only supplied goods, he even offered credit also. Now in this case, both will become taxable. Interest element also will become taxable. Situation 2, if you see, DCA given goods to invoice and even offered extension of credit. So altogether there is a supply of goods, supply of service, bundle, hence interest also becomes taxable in situation 2. Principal to DCA supply, DCA to customer also it is supply, and even this interest element also getting taxed. But principal to customer no invoice, hence it is not a supply. So this is a clarification here with respect to declaratory agent. Sir, we are in schedule 1. Okay, this clarification takes so much of time and it will take us out of the context, I mean little outside the schedule 1, but again we'll come back to the schedule 1. Schedule 1 or 7 subsection 1 clause C is about what? Transactions which are to be treated as supply even though there is no consideration. We already discussed 2 points there. First one, import of service, even though there is no consideration, it amounts to supply. Second one, transfer of goods between principal and agent or agent and principal amounts to supply even though there is no consideration. But one important point is there, invoice is the determining factor. 2 points done. Now we are coming to third one. What is this third one? Supply of goods services are both between related persons and distinct persons also amounts to supply even though there is no consideration. Supply of goods services are both between whom? related persons and distinct persons also amounts to supply. Between two related persons, you have one branch in Hyderabad, another branch in Bangalore. From this branch 1 to branch 2, if you send any goods, services, even though no consideration, still it amounts to what? Supply. That's the third point. Supply of goods, services or both between related persons and distinct persons. In our example, if you remember inter-level branch accounting, departmental accounting, one branch to another branch stock transferred, one department to another department stock transferred. Okay, if they have separate registrations, they are called distinct persons. Such stock transfers has to be treated as what? Supply only. Understand? So any goods, services or both has been transferred between distinct persons. No money charged because both are your units only, your branches only. No money transacted, but still it amounts to what? Supply, even though there is no consideration. Here there is a proviso which says like what? Employer has given gift to employee. A good, something as gift to employee. Sir, gift means with consideration or without consideration? Without consideration. But if you apply above point, employer and employee are related persons. Between related persons, if any goods and services are transacted, even though there is no consideration, it amounts to supply. So this employer, for every festival, he is giving sweet packets to employee. He is giving sweet packets to employee. With consideration or without consideration? Without consideration only. So now giving that sweet packet also attracts above point. Because employer-employee, related persons, goods and services transferred between related persons, so it is supply. Sir, employer gives sweet packet, will he ask money to employee? Some Diwali, Dashara, Sankranti, some festival, employer given sweet box to employee. Will he ask him to pay again 1,000 rupees for the sweet box? Then he will not even take. So freely he has given the sweet box. But still that has to be treated as what? Supply. As if he has sold that box to employee, he has to treat. If you apply the above logic or above provision, is it harsh or not? Then if it is the case, then employer will simply start doing what? He will not even give. Sweet box is also nothing, he will not give. Why? Because unnecessarily he has to pay GST also on that. If you treat it as supply, again, GST has to be paid. He didn't got any money, but still he need to treat it as supply. That's why they given an exception here through proviso. What does it says? Where employer gives any gifts to employee without consideration. You check what is the aggregate value of such gifts given in a financial year. If the aggregate value of gifts given in a financial year is within 50,000, then it is not a supply. Understand, sir? Where the amount exceeds 50,000, then the total value has to be treated as supply. Sir, in a year, 6 times he has given gift. Every time the gift value is 10,000. 6 times he has given. So cumulatively how much aggregately in a year? 60. More than 50 or less than 50? So total 60,000 has to be treated as supply even though there is no consideration. Understand, sir? Okay. Here there is one more point came. Interstate movement of conveyance. What? So this is Morning Star Travels. They have one Vijayawada office and Hyderabad branch. It is a bus owned by Vijayawada branch. Now they send every day this bus to Hyderabad for transportation of goods and passengers. Now my first question is, forget about transportation of goods and passengers. First, bus is a good or not? Bus fits into the definition of good or not? What is called good? Every kind of mobile property. Bus mobile or immobile? So it is a good. So now what happening every day? Yes, it is transporting passengers, goods and all. That's secondary. Every day this bus goes from one distinct person to another distinct person. Because my Vijayawada branch is one registration, my Hyderabad branch is another registration. Every day this bus go to Vijayawada to Hyderabad. That means what? Moving from one distinct person to another distinct person. If you apply above logic, when a good is transferred from one distinct person to another distinct person, it amounts to what? Supply, even though there is no consideration. That means what? Every time if bus goes from this place to that place, bus value 70 lakhs. 70 lakhs pay GST. Again tomorrow it comes from there to here. Again pay GST. So it's like a cycle every day. Okay, look about RTC, because they have several buses which will be going from one state to another. Think of Indian Railways. Okay, train value is like 5 crores. Every day the train goes from one distant person to another distant person. Every time they have to pay tax on those train or conveyances, other goods vehicles and all. Is it possible practically? No. Okay, that's why what they said, that particular one which is transferring from one distant person to another distant person, is it a conveyance? Yes. Okay, conveyance means what? Which is used for transportation is called conveyance. Bus is a conveyance or not? Train, conveyance. Okay, trucks, trolleys, all those come under conveyance. So the one which is moving from one distant person to another distant person, yes, it is a good, but it is even a conveyance also. Even a conveyance also. Then in that case, what they are saying, see, interstate movement of conveyance, it could be bus, train, truck, trolley, anything else also which is used for transportation of goods and passengers. It just moving from one state to another, one distant person to another. For what? For carrying goods and passengers. Then don't treat it as a supply. But if it is moving for repairs, sir, it went to Hyderabad to carry out repairs and again it is coming back. Then to the repair extent, treat it as what? Supply. It is sent for further supply. Means what? From Vijayawada you send to Hyderabad, not for transportation, to sell it in Hyderabad. Then treat it as a supply. Okay, in the regular course of transportation, it goes from one distant person to another distant person. It is not a supply. Sent for repairs. After repairs coming back, then to the extent of repairs treated as supply. You are sending for what? To sell there. Then again treat the bus value as supply. Otherwise, for just going from one branch to another branch for transportation need not to be treated as supply. Okay, sir, in schedule 1, 3 points only we completed. The linked clarifications also we are covering. That's why it takes time. First one is what? Import of service without consideration also amounts to supply. 2 conditions has to be satisfied. Import of service without consideration is also supply. 2 conditions has to be satisfied. What are those 2? Recipient must be, both the parties, supplier and recipient must be related persons. Second one, in the course or furtherance of business. First one done. Second one, transfer of any goods between principal and agent amounts to supply even though there is no consideration. Which is the deciding factor? Invoice is the deciding factor. Third one, transfer of goods, services or both between related persons and distinct persons amounts to supply even though there is no consideration. First one is proviso 1. Proviso. What is that proviso? Employer gives any gifts to employee. What is the amount to be checked? 50,000. Individually 50 na aggregately 50? Aggregately for all the employees. For one employee only, if they give multiple times, add the total and check within 50 more than 50 in a year. Okay, that point also done. Next one, this clarification. Interstate movement of conveyance from one distinct person to another distinct person in the course of transportation of goods and passengers is not a supply. When it is supply, sent for repairs and coming back after repairs, to the extent of repair value treated as supply. Sent for further supply, then the bus value treated as bus or train conveyance, whatever it is, that value treated as supply. Now the last one, sir, fourth one, under schedule 1, permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC avail. Permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC avail. Permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC claim amounts to supply even though there is no consideration. So what is permanent transfer or disposal? Sir, first, why ITC is given? The basic point. Why ITC has to be given? To avoid double taxation and cascading. At the time of purchase also it is taxed, and when you are selling also again it is taxed. So 2 times it is taxing. to eliminate that double taxation, what they are saying, at the time of purchase, whatever you tax paid, that is given as credit, and it can be offered as set off with the tax payable at the time of your sale. So understand the ITC logic. What is ITC? Why ITC is given? To eliminate double taxation and cascading. Understand? Now what is double taxation? I purchased goods, sir. That time the goods got taxed. And again when I sell them, again the goods will be taxed. But first at the time of me purchasing taxed, again me selling also it is getting taxed. 2 times taxing na. That's why to avoid double taxation, what they are saying, initially when I purchase, whatever is the tax amount, the tax amount I can take it as ITC. And it is eligible to set off with the tax payable. So effectively what happens, the tax paid already will be adjusted, extra amount only you will pay, not cumulatively always, right? That's why ITC concept has been given. But understand, you purchased goods, but you are not even selling them. You are not even selling them, not even using for business purpose. Is there double taxation? Understand the goods. You purchased goods, taxed, fine, agree. But you are not even using them for business, not even selling them. Is there double taxation? No. Then why they have to give ITC? Not required, right? But what happened means you already availed ITC. Then what has to be done? Sir, understand. You purchased goods, availed ITC, but not selling them again, or not using for business purpose also. Then you are not actually eligible to take ITC, but you already took ITC. Then one way is what? The ITC you took has to be reversed. Instead of doing that, what this provision says means, treat that as supply. Even though you don't use for business purpose, treat that as supply and pay tax. Then ITC availing is justified na. You avail ITC, but you paid again tax also to justify this ITC concept. What they are saying, permanent transfer or disposal amounts to supply. So what is permanent transfer? Okay, Bhavya started an electronic shop. Bhavya, okay. So we have 2 Bhavyas here, so need not to confuse. Who is big Bhavya? Huh? This one big Bhavya. That one? Age. Okay. No, I'm asking. Okay. Chota Bhavya, Bada Bhavya. It's okay. So Chota Bhavya started a electronic shop. Then some orphanage people came and asked like, Akka, Surid is mandating Akka, so much of heat, we cannot sleep in our rooms and all, please arrange AC. Then with, even though his Chota Akka heart is so given AC donated to him. Now tell, when she purchased the AC, she thought she is going to sell it for business. I mean, in the course of business. So she availed ITC. Now what she did? Donated. Is it used for business? Is it sold? So, but already she availed ITC. Why ITC is given initially? Assuming there will be double taxation, they already given ITC. But this asset is not going to be used for business. One thing. Second one. Bada Bhavya marriage. Okay. For that marriage, Chota Bhavya again went. Again, big heart. So what she did? One more AC gifted. Okay. Then one AC donated. One AC gifted. Third AC she transferred to her residence. Because this many ACs she is giving now, then at her home. Okay. This is the 5th AC which will be installed in kitchen. Okay. Here another AC. Then by looking at all this, Mandeep felt like she is having so many ACs. Okay. So donating and all. So he also went and asked Bhavya, give me one AC as gift. But she said like, no. Then, okay, what, it's anyhow our shop only. So friend shop now, our shop only. So he went and took 2 ACs and went. Okay. But after the closure of shop, he went and took 2 ACs. Okay. He thought it's like our shop only now, we can take any time, no issues with that. But she is feeling like is what? theft. Okay, then one TV damaged by rats. So now all these, sorry, one AC or TV, okay. How many are there, sir? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Out of total 10. 6 what happened? Transfer, 6 not used for business or not sold also. But regarding this 6 TVs also, she already availed ITC. Actually, there is no double taxation for all these 6 ACs, but still she availed ITC. Now, what the provision says means, even though these are not technically sales, treat them also as supply and pay tax. Then you availing ITC is justified. So, these are permanent transfer. Why permanent transfer, sir? Because she cannot go back afterwards to the orphanage home and say like, no, give my AC, she cannot call. Or even if there is a fight with Bhavya also, she cannot again go her and say like, return my AC and all. Okay, that's why these are permanent transfers. They are not going to come back. So treat them as what? Supply, even though there is no consideration. So in schedule 1, we have total 4 points. First one is what? Import of service, even though there is no consideration. But 2 points to be checked. Supplier and recipient should be related, and they should be in the course or furtherance of business. Second one, any transfer of goods between principal and agent or agent and principal, even though there is no consideration. But what is deciding factor? Invoice is the deciding factor. Third one, any transfer of goods, services or both between related persons or distinct persons amounts to supply, even though there is no consideration. There is a proviso which says like what? When employer gives any gift to employee and the aggregate amount is within 50,000 in a financial year, not a supply. The last 4th point, permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which ITC avail amounts to supply, even though there is no consideration. So with this, what we have completed? 7 subsection 1 completed. Okay, 7 subsection 1 clause A talk about general situations. 5 conditions to be satisfied to call as supply. 7 subsection 1 clause A, that any person other than individual has to give it to their members or constituents, that amounts to supply. 7 subsection 1B, import of service amounts to supply even though, if there is consideration, even though not in the course or furtherance of business. 7 subsection 1 clause C, along with schedule 1. Sir, these 4 points which you have discussed, which are treated as supply even though there is no consideration, are mentioned in schedule 1. That schedule 1 other name is deemed supplies. Why? In general, to call them as supply, consideration must be there. Even though there is no consideration, still we are calling them as what? Supplies. That's why they are called as what? Deemed supplies. Where deemed supplies are there? In schedule 1. Sir, if theft, okay, he asked, Raghava asked a doubt. Sir, theft and damage might be covered with insurance, right? Sir, if they are covered by insurance and they were restored, insurance company has given you or replaced you with another 3 ACs or TVs, now then there is no permanent transfer. Why? Because even though you lost AC, you got compensated with another AC. In such case, then it is not a permanent transfer. You need not to treat it as a supply. Sir, are you able to understand? She has insurance here. Then for the 2 ACs theft, insurance company reimbursed what? Okay, 2 ACs you lost, right? So okay, we'll give you 2 ACs. They reimbursed her for her loss by way of giving 2 other air conditioners. Then it need not to be treated as a supply. Understand? Ma? వస్తే అన్నాను, వస్తుందా రాదా అంటే నేనేమన్నా ఇన్సూరెన్స్ ఏజెంటా చెప్పు. వస్తే వస్తే సో మన ఇన్సూరెన్స్ వస్తుందా రాదని వస్తే ఏంటి, ఒకవేళ ర్యాట్స్ కాదు ఫైర్ యాక్సిడెంట్ జరిగింది, దెన్ ఇన్ దట్ కేస్ Raghav, are you able to understand? Hello all. How are you? How things going on? Boring. Tell then what we'll do to make it engaging, interesting, entertaining. Check down. But we need to first find a water tank. That water tank is not there now. ఉంటాయి మళ్ళీ ఎక్కడి ఎక్కడికి మీరు ఎగ్జామ్స్ రాయాలనుకుంటున్నారా లేకపోతే you remember that you are having June exams, so Bhavya, you are having both groups, so at least little. It's okay. Shivani na, she already cleared group 3, so she can do trips, picnics, whatever she wants she can do, because she has only group 4. That Bhavya also having only group 4 now. She already prepared. And by the time of classes itself she revised 4 times. Bhavya. Sunday? Okay, we'll plan. Bharadwaj, you're getting peacefully sleep night time. Sometimes tension, what happens, how to study and all. Then if you're getting all this, why now you're asking like I want entertainment, I want fun? It's okay. Let me complete my fast track first. 15 days. Then you plan anything. Okay. So basically tension enduku dandaga crane. There is to be a tension enduku dandaga BCCA undaga. That's what you say. About yes sir. Who is that Raghava? Okay. You asked as if you know, that's why I am thinking. No. So we'll take it at 8:15. See, like your efficiency levels are decreasing break after break. See, morning first 1.5 hour session, like efficiency is good, like everybody replying. After this first break to the second break, then moderately. After the second break, third session will start. Now then, it's almost me like lemale. It's okay. So here efficiency is like 90-95%, then dropping to 75, then it is like almost 50 only. Section 7, subsection 1A plus schedule 2, sir. Here we gonna decide, sir, already we decided whether a transaction is supply or not based on 7 subsection 1. Here our job is what? To decide whether it is supply of good or supply of service. Simple thing, sir. when ownership is being transferred. With respect to goods, ownership is being transferred. The title, ownership is being transferred. Then supply of good. Otherwise, supply of service only. You went to library, took a book, used for 10 days, and again, you will become owner or you have to return it. So is it a supply of good or supply of service? Service. Why? Because you are not getting the title. And these rental bikes, rental cars will be there. You will become owner once you take the car. Some random guy on road might think like when you are driving car you might be owner, but still you don't be the owner, right? When you will become owner, when the ownership title get transferred. If not, it is supply of service only. Okay, so when ownership and title transferred, it is what? Supply of good. Only possession. You have with you that bike currently, but it is a rental bike. So you have only possession, not ownership. So it is what? Supply of service. Then what? Composite supply. Works contract. What is works contract, sir? Contract which involves both supply of goods and services with respect to immovable property. In simple, I given a construction contract to a tapi mestri. Okay. Okay. So what is this contract? He only has to bring cement, iron, sand, bricks, everything he only has to bring. He has to do. And construction service also he only has to do. For that 50 lakhs is the agreed amount. Now there is 50 lakhs. For that 50 lakhs he is providing service as well as supply of goods. With respect to what? Immovable property. It is called as what? Works contract. So now the question is whether works contract has to be treated as supply of good or supply of service. So schedule 2 made it clear that it has to be treated as what? Supply of service. Then restaurants. Again, whether, sir, in restaurant they are not saying like when you go to a restaurant, they are giving you that VIP treatment. Na? Someone will come, they'll open the door, okay, and then they'll put, so even in your house also you only have to keep. But there, okay, they'll as if you went to your mother-in-law's house, they'll put slowly, spoon by spoon, okay, then they'll ask like, sir, you want this pizza, that pizza, anything else you need, as if they are giving freely. Okay, they'll ask. They'll not even get you trained to walk until the wash basin also. They'll bring finger bowl also. Okay, so that kind of VIP treatment they are giving. Okay, so you are going to restaurant not just for food, for that ambience, for that service, you are going to restaurant, right? That's why there is service involved as well as good involved. So which is predominant? Service. So it has to be treated as supply of service. Restaurants has to be treated as what? Supply of service. However, ice cream parlors, bakeries are not restaurants. They have to be treated as what? Supply of goods only. Okay, bakery shop guy will not serve you spoon by spoon. Okay, he'll give it directly. That's why they have to be treated as what? Goods. Okay, normal supply of goods only. Then intangibles. Sir, intangibles when they are pre-packed and sold, like an audio cassette, a movie loaded in a DVD, okay, or else like a pre-packed software. These days, mostly these things we can't see. Only we are downloading through the mobile only directly, software, movie, everything. Okay, but previously there used to be CDs sold, pre-packed software. Okay, I don't know how many of you remember, even for the old version of laptops, there will be a CD drive. The antivirus and all will be inserting through a CD and all. Okay, so those are pre-packed softwares, supply of goods. And then intangible, sir. Okay, like franchise, development of software, patent, trademarks, all this will be treated as what? Supply of service. With this we completed what? Schedule 2. Then we are moving on to 7 subsection 2. Transactions which are treated as neither supply of goods nor supply of services, which are covered under where? Negative list. First one. Funeral, burial, crematorium, mortuary services, including transportation of the deceased. Okay, so GST, I mean, the lawmakers council thought like, even on these activities also, if you levy GST, people will scold us like anything. Even on death also, these people collecting GST. So how ruthless these people and all, they think. That's why those death and after death related activities related, funeral, burial, crematorium, including transportation of mortuary, including transportation of the deceased, on these transactions will not treat them as supply. If not supply, then obviously no GST. Then sale of land and building. So always when you sell individually land, it's not a supply. But if you are selling land and building together, so only land you are selling, then it is always in what? Negative list. You are selling land and building together. When you are selling land and building together, you need to check when the consideration is received. Where the entire consideration received after completion, or either part or total consideration received before completion. So you need to check, sir, this building sold now. This building completed under construction. Completed. Now if we sell means the entire consideration will receive after what? Completion only. So it is covered under negative list. Okay, but there is like in front, but there is an apartment is being constructed, sir. Only the foundation has been made. But you went to the contractor or the developer and you asked like, you want some third floor, east facing, something you have ordered already and paid 10 lakhs. He said like one particular flat is 50 lakhs and you paid 10 lakhs as advance. And he said like in third floor, one particular flat has been confirmed to you. Now, immobile properties, land and building is transferred or supplied, but consideration paid before completion or after completion? Before completion. Now how to be treated is like, sir, you gave 50 lakhs. For that 50, you gave like what? 10 lakhs as advance. You have to assume it or you have to treat it such a way like, you paid 10 lakhs advance for asking him to construct the building in the way you want. That's why you treat. I mean, it has to be treated as a works contract. Are you able to understand, sir? Building construction lo unnappude meer ellipoyo flat book cheskoni money icharu. So then, okay, in the under the building is under construction, you booked a flat and paid money. So then it has to be assumed like a works contract. He took money and constructing the building as per your requirements. Like that you have to treat, and it is about works contract, supply of service. When it is under negative list, when the entire consideration is received after completion, then it is negative list. So this building, completed building under construction. If this building is sold now, the entire consideration received after completion or before completion? After completion. So this building is covered under negative list. When an individual land is sold, for land, construction under construction will not be there. So that's why land is always under negative list. But when land and building together are there, we need to check when the consideration is received. Before completion, after completion. Entire consideration should be received after completion only to be covered under the negative list. Second one, sir. First one is what? Funeral, burial, crematorium services, including transportation of the deceased. Second one, sale of land and building, where entire consideration is received after completion, not a supply. Third one, actionable claims. Actionable claims are also covered under negative list other than specified actionable claims. That means if you do transactions in specified actionable claims, they are supply only. Other than specified actionable claims, not a supply. What are called specified actionable claims? Betting, gambling, casinos, horse races, lottery, online money gaming. These comes under specified actionable claims. These are supply. Other than this, what are there, sir? Checks, promissory notes, bills of exchange. Okay, they are not supply. Then fourth one. Sir, MPs and MLAs. What is their job, sir? Eating, sleeping, eh? It's okay. On paper at least, what is their job? To attend every function which is going to be happened in that particular village, opening shops, so that only is their business. Half saree function, dhoti function. So what is their role? Actually, they are representatives of public. They need to be with the public, understand their issues, and those issues has to be communicated at the higher level and need to get some solution for those issues. That's their right. Why they have to do that? Just because we voted. Okay, yes, we voted. They have been elected for that. But they are leaving all their other works and doing this only. For that they have to get some consideration, right? So MPs, MLAs also will get some salary. Will not call it, even though it's paid as salary, but Logically, as per income tax definition, it is not salary, but they'll get some compensation for the work they are doing. Is it, or can that be treated as supply? No, it is also not a supply. MPs, MLAs, for discharging their functions, they'll get monthly some amount as salary, but that need not to be treated as a supply. Functions performed by MPs, MLAs, local authority members, panchayats, and person who holds any post as per provisions of constitution. President will get some salary, vice president will get, governors will get. So all their amounts which they receive is not what? Supply. Then service provided by employee to employer in the course of employment. Sorry, employee works for employer. In consideration, what he will get? Salary. Such salary is not a supply. It may be contractual employment, permanent employment, whatever it is, it's not supply. Then services by court tribunals, where any court or tribunal provides services, that is also not a supply. So flames are for this set of points. Funeral, burial, crematorium services, F. Land and building, actionable claims, MPs, MLAs and all. Employee providing to employer, Supreme Court, High Court and any other court and tribunal services. These are covered under negative list. But these are only 6. We have another 7 points. Next one is what? Co-insurance. What is co-insurance means? See, sir. Sir, let's say Reliance Oil and Gas has, Reliance has the largest refinery in India to process the crude oil. Okay, they'll import crude. That crude will be processed like to diesel, petrol and all. So they have biggest oil refinery, which worth lakhs of crores. Now to that Reliance Oil, that particular factory, refinery, insurance is being taken. Now HDFC insurance people went and they got shocked looking at their values because the plant is worth 2 lakh crores. Now HDFC alone insures that, and something happens to the Reliance plant, HDFC also will become bankrupt because to pay that much insurance amount. So what HDFC said, sir, I alone cannot insure you. I need some other people also to share the risk. So, okay, that and Reliance is what? That and all your problem. You take how many people you want, you can do that. But HDFC is acting the lead role here. HDFC is acting the lead role. What happened here? HDFC, see, is called as what? Lead insurer. Policy holder is whom? Reliance. It pays, there is an insurance contract between them and Reliance is paying insurance premium. But what HDFC thought? Sir, HDFC thought like it is too risky if they only takes the total risk. So it has taken 2 partners kind of. What are the 2? Other one is like ICICI and Axis. So they agreed to a formula like what? 50% risk will be bared by HDFC, 25% ICICI, 25% Axis. Same way the premium also. The total premium first will be received by HDFC and in that 50% will be retained by HDFC and balance 25% to ICICI and another 25% to ICICI. Here, what is not supply now? Sir, first policy holder Reliance pays to whom? HDFC. HDFC pays the GST on total amount. Total, let's say 1 crore is the premium, on 1 crore HDFC will pay. That is supply only, no problem. But again, what HDFC has to do? It has to distribute that co-insurance premium with the co-insurers. That distribution among them is not supply. Sir, able to understand, sir? I am the main lead insurer. I only enter into all the agreements with the policy holder. He is paying me the premium. That giving insurance, paying premium is supply, no question about that. Me being the lead insurer, I paid tax on total amount. So this is done. Now, am I only sharing the risk or am I only bearing the risk or I am sharing the risk? Sharing the risk. So since they are sharing the risk, I need to share the premium also. I already paid GST. Insurance taken on insurance premium I got. On the total amount I paid GST. Later, I got 1 crore. Out of that 1 crore, 25 lakhs are given to Axis, 25 lakhs are given to ICICI. This distribution of insurance premium is not a supply. See, lead insurer shares insurance premium with co-insurers for services which they agreed to supply jointly. It is not a supply of good nor supply of service. Activity of apportionment of co-insurance premium by the lead insurer to the co-insurer for the insurance services jointly supplied by the lead insurer and the co-insurer to the insured in co-insurance agreements. Then reinsurance commission. What is reinsurance, sir? Sir, I given so many insurance policies. Okay? I got so much of premium, but now I am under risk. Why? Because all those policies get matured once. I need to pay and I don't have that much money to pay. So that's why I take insurance from another insurance company which is called reinsurance. So reinsurance is also not a supply. This is what co-insurance premium apportioned between lead insurer and co-insurers is not a supply. Here it is what reinsurance premium part is not a supply. Okay. So then supply of goods from a place in non-taxable territory to another non-taxable territory without such goods entering into India. Sir, I am in India. I purchased goods from Japan and selling them in Iran. I purchased goods in Japan. I am selling them in, like, let's say US. I buy in Japan, sell in US. Those goods will not come to India. Directly from Japan, they'll go to where? US. Okay. So supply of goods from a place in non-taxable territory, Japan, to another place in the non-taxable territory, USA, without such goods entering into India. So then it is not a supply. Then bond to bond transfer. If you remember little customs points, sir, what? The goods, once you imported, you have two options. First one is what? Home consumption. Second one is what? Warehousing. You kept your goods in warehouse. Sir, one more important point, sir. When you keep the goods in warehouse, when the import process ends, only when the goods are removed from warehouse, cleared for home consumption, till then the import process is on. Sir, only when import process is completed, GST can come. I mean, this GST Act will come. Sir, what you are saying, sir, even in Customs Act also you discussed about IGST. Na? Sir, yes, there is IGST, but which is nothing but equivalent of local excise duty and all only we being living as IGST. And there, the right to levy that IGST is under Customs Act only, not given by GST Act. Are able to understand, sir? Manam customs lo IGST vestunam kada. That IGST legality, the right to levy that IGST didn't came from GST Act. It came from section 12 only. Okay, the GST, the customs charging section only gives the power even to levy equivalent of local taxes. Okay, the equivalent of local tax only we are levying there what? IGST. Okay, so but this CGST Act purview will start only when the Customs Act purview ends. Till under when the Customs Act coverages, until the import is on, Customs Act only responsible, right? So till when import is continuing, till the period the goods continues to be warehouse, they are still under the coverage of what? Customs Act only. So GST, CGST Act cannot interfere. See, now what happened? Mandi warehouse these goods. Now when they are in warehouse, he sold it to Bharadwaj. Bharadwaj sold to Manjunath. Now two sales happened. Whether these two sales amounts to supply as per GST? No, sir. Why? Only when the goods are ultimately removed from warehouse, then only they will come out of the customs coverage and will fall into the GST. There is a sale happened, but still the goods are lying where? Warehouse only. So that is not a supply as per GST. అర్థమవుతుందా అండి? Simple thing, sir. Warehouse నుంచి బయటకు వచ్చేంత వరకు కూడా until they came out of warehouse, they are under which act coverage? Customs Act coverage. Okay, until they come out of warehouse, they are still in the process of import only. Okay, only when import completes, then this GST Act will come into picture. So, but when the goods are sold, when they are in the warehouse, they are kept in the warehouse, that time they are being sold. So that's why GST is not applicable. It is not a supply. Then high seas sale. High seas now what? Not even came to India. During the transit only they were supplied. Sorry, even when they reach India, when they kept in warehouse also, we are saying like not a supply. When they are sold in the transit means obviously it is also not a supply. Then this 13th point is newly added, sir. What is this one says? Supply of goods warehoused in a SEZ free trade zone. Similar thing only. Their warehousing happened within the customs area. But yesterday I said you one more point. Warehouse need not to be always within the customs area. Even outside the customs areas also there can be warehouses. Such warehouses will be deemed to be considered as within the customs area. So here where the warehouse is there, in an SEZ area or a free trade warehousing zone. Okay, and then in that place you sold your goods from one person to another, same as like warehousing point only. Even in this case also it is not a supply. This is the point which was newly added. Previously what they mentioned only about normal warehousing point. Now they are specific about what? Even if the warehouse is located in an SEZ zone, free trade warehousing zone. Okay, you sold the goods when you only warehouse them in a SEZ or in a free trade warehousing zone. But you sold them to B or B sold to C, but still the goods are lying in the warehouse only. Hence it is not a supply because still they are under the Customs Act coverage only. This is also done. The last point, sir. State governments issue license to sell alcohol. That sale of license is not a supply. Sir, we cannot start a liquor shop just like as we start any other shop. Okay, to start a alcohol liquor shop, we need get a license. That issue of license, for that if any license fee is paid, that is not a supply. So total 13 points are there under Schedule 3. First set are like flames, funeral burial, land and building, actionable claims, MPs, MLAs, employee to employer, Supreme Court, High Court and tribunal services. That's 6 done. The next. Co-insurance related to co-insurance, reinsurance, 8 points done. Then this import related 4 points are there. What are those? You are in India, but goods are directly sending from non-taxable territory to non-taxable territory. First one. Second one, during the transit, when the goods are in high seas, that time itself you sold. Then also covered by negative list. Third one, you imported goods, kept in warehouse. When they are in the warehouse, sold from one person to another. Such sale is also not a supply, covered by negative list. You didn't kept in the normal warehouse. You kept in a warehouse which is located in SEZ or free trade warehousing zone. Then also same rule. Until they removed from warehouse, they are still under the customs coverage only. It is not a supply. The last one, state government issues license to sell alcohol. That license, for that license, if any license fee is collected, that is also covered under negative list. It is also not a supply. So with this we have completed section 7. Okay. So now you can take a break. Hello all. Good morning. Welcome back. So we are now going into section 8, sir. It's about composite supply and mixed supply. So what is called composite supply? Composite supply means a supply of supply made by a taxable person of goods, services or both, which are naturally bundled. Supply made by a taxable person of goods, services or both. So in simple, composite supply means you are supplying two or more goods, services as a bundle. And such bundling is naturally bundled. And they are in conjunction with each other. Conjunction means what? Connected with one another. Means a supply made by a taxable person which are naturally bundled and in conjunction with each other in the ordinary course of business, and one among them is a principal supply. So see, what are the keywords here? Made by a taxable person of goods, services or both, which are naturally bundled and in conjunction with each other in the ordinary course of business, and one among them is a principal supply. Then it is called as what? Composite supply. What is called mixed supply? Again, two or more individual supply of goods, services or both made in conjunction for a single price, and it is not a composite supply. Okay, you made a bundle of supplies for a single price, but they are not what? Composite supplies. Nothing but they are independent of each other. They are not like dependent on each other or as a bundle kind of they are. Yes, bundling is there, but not naturally bundled. Okay, they are independent. Individual supplies are independent and not naturally bundled. In simple, if they are naturally bundled, composite supply. Not naturally bundled, mixed supply. In composite supply, one among the bundle which is having predominant character or predominant element will be treated as what? Principal supply. Okay, in mixed supply, none of them are predominant. Every supply is individual and independent. Then that is called as what? Mixed supply. But to decide whether it is naturally bundled or not, we have certain parameters. Like what? Perception of customer. How customer will perceive them. As a group, he'll expect or else individually is expecting. Second one, how majority of suppliers provide them. Whether they do as a bundle or separately they sell. Third one, price. How they have been priced. Fourth one, how they are advertised. Fifth one, whether they are available separately or you can buy them only as a bundle. Or whether they can function, they can work separately or they will work. They cannot work, one will not work without the other means, then also we can say like what? Naturally bundled. So these are certain indicators. If majority of these are satisfied, then we call it as what? Composite supply. Then how do we tax a composite supply? On the total bundle, whichever is the principal supply, that principal supply rate, applicable GST rate has to be levied on the total bundle. In case of mixed supply, whichever the element is having highest tax rate, that rate has to be levied on the total bundle. See, there are certain examples for composite supply, sir. A person selling train, okay, like let's say train ticket is being sold like Rajdhani Express, Shatabdi Express, where meal and transport are like integrated. You cannot transport or you cannot travel in this train without ordering food. Okay, I mean the transport, the travel price is inclusive of food cost. So food not available separately in the train. In the train, if you have to travel now, you need to take even the food also. Okay, then not available separately. It is what? Composite supply. Laptop and bag. Yes, they can be available separately, but the problem is majority suppliers offline markets are not online, offline. When they sell laptop, they even give laptop bag also. So laptop and bag, majority suppliers will do that. That's why it is what? Composite supply. Mobile and charger. Sir, majority customers expect what? When you buy a mobile, don't you expect charger? Yes, we do expect. And majority suppliers are still providing charger along with a mobile. So it is what? Composite supply. When you order an electronic item, let's say AC has been ordered, they'll deliver it, they'll install it also. So AC is a good, delivery is a service, installation is a service, but all three together they are supplying, which is called again what? A bundle, but which is predominant? AC. It's okay. It also has to be treated as what? Composite supply. Movie ticket plus popcorn. If for that show, if they are sold only as combo, okay, for a particular show, you cannot buy a ticket without taking popcorn. As a combo ticket only they are selling. Then it is also what? Composite supply. Then construction contract, works contract. There is both supply of good and service. It is also composite supply, but which is main? Service. Then hotel stay, sir. In hotel stay, they are providing stay, breakfast, laundry. In 5-star hotels, providing stay along with that complimentary breakfast and laundry is a normal thing. Majority will do. That's why it is also what? Composite supply. Treatment to inpatient. They are giving treatment to inpatient and providing food diet. Okay. If the food diet is as suggested by doctor, then that food is also part of what? Treatment only. Treat it as what? Composite supply. Finance lease. If any finance lease is given, they are giving lease and even interest amount also there, but still it also has to be treated as what? Composite supply. So these are certain examples, sir. In our exam coverage, they will not go beyond these points. Okay. So composite supply. Then mixed supply. Diwali gift hamper. Diwali gift hamper means what? There will be dry fruits, different dry fruits like badam, kaju, okay, pista, and then some chocolates, some sweets. So different items packed as a group and as a packet, and they will be giving that. So that is a mixed supply, Diwali gift hamper. So what tax rate has to be applied? Whichever is having the highest tax rate, that has to be levied on the total bundle. Then there is a pack of shirt to wallet to watch book. Sir, shirt to wallet to watch is also fine. Book not matching. Okay, that's why what happened. This is also what? Mixed supply. Free bucket with detergent. Connected only, na sir. Detergent and bucket connected. You will use detergent only to wash clothes, huh? There are other uses also, right? Or is there any rule that bucket has to be used only for washing clothes? No, right? So that has independent use. Bucket has an independent use, not just for put detergent and soak the clothes. Not only that purpose, it has independent usage. I may use it as dustbin. Okay, I may use it as a wicket for playing cricket. In between, I'll keep. Okay. What to put? I may use it as a flower pot. Okay. So I may use it in different ways, or else I use it only to take bath, not for washing clothes. So different purposes are there. So that's why it is of independent use. So treat it as what? Mixed supply. Kit by a fancy store. Okay, they are selling a kit where it consists of a mini hair oil sachet, comb, soap, this kind of. Then that is also mixed supply. Extended storage device and UPS. Sir, when you buy inverter, they'll give you a machine, along with that a battery also will be given. Sir, without battery inverter will not work now. But they connect a battery externally. Okay, and that battery can be removed anytime you want and can use it for your car or any other thing also. Okay, so it's not. Sir, in our mobile also battery will be there. Can we remove that? So this is not externally connected. Internally it is connected. So that battery will not see separately. But for UPS and all, for inverter and all, there is a separate battery will be given. So like even you'll have a choice also. They'll ask which company battery you want also. That's why battery has to be treated as a individual supply, independent supply. That's why it is what? Mixed supply. Toothpaste and toothbrush. Sir, connected only, na sir, toothpaste and toothbrush. But still, why they are called as mixed supply? You don't understand? Yes, that is also one way. Sir, for a family, you will buy how many toothpaste? Toothbrushes? One only, yeah. So that means what? They are independent of usage. Okay? That's why what? It's the mixed supply. So it's not like when you buy a toothbrush, it's not necessary you will always buy a toothpaste also. Okay, this is what? Mixed supply. Then clarification on printing. So this clarification, listen carefully, printing. So let's say our books printing only. I'll be giving the content. The printer guy will print it and give. So what he is doing is supply of good or supply of service? Service, because I give the content. But he is doing two. He is giving the paper printing activity, which is main. That paper is good element. The printing activity is service element, which is main. Printing activity maina, paper maina. Sir, are you able to understand? You given content, sir. Just I given the content, PDF I have given to him. Then he is printing. For printing he need paper, right? So he only purchased paper. And then he is printing on it. So printing activity maina, paper maina. Printing activity maina, paper maina. Paper. Sir, printing activity only main, sir. Okay, why? Because if on the same book, if you print a God photo, you'll put it in your house inside and you do prayers and all. On the same paper, if you print a devil photo, you'll keep it in front of the house as like. Okay, so understand the point, sir, here. What is happening there? So printing changing its value. If you print a national flag there, okay, you'll take it. So just because of printing only it is changing, right? The value is being changed because of printing. Okay, so printing gives the value addition. So not the paper, printing is main. Treat it as what? Supply of service. But what? Printing of books, brochures, annual reports, content given by me, publisher, inputs belong to printer. But predominant activity is what? Printing. It is what? Supply of service. Then supply of printed envelopes, card boxes, paper napkins. So paper napkins means like in restaurants and all they'll give tissues, right? On that they'll be pre-printed with their restaurant name. Domino's, like that they were pre-printed. Now, so I am that manufacturer who sell those paper napkins. So now Domino's said like, we want paper napkins, but pre-printed with Domino's. Okay. Now here which is main? Printing main, good main. Sir, I am doing what? I'll buy that, sorry, I'll prepare that paper napkin. On that I do printing and give it to the Domino's. Which is main? Printing main, paper main? Paper main, sir. Why? Because just because they wrote Domino's, you will not do puja for it. You'll use again for wiping your hands only. Okay, there is no extra usage you do. Even if they do printing or don't do printing also, you'll use the tissue for same thing. So printing not giving value addition there. So which is main there? Input belongs to printer, but which is main? The paper is main. So predominant activity is good. So treat it as what? Supply of goods. Supply of goods. Then Shivani donated 50 lakhs rupees to a temple. She cleared group 3 also. Already cleared group 3. Group 4 also she cleared. She donated 50 lakh rupees to a temple. They thought she'll give some 50 rupees or 100 rupees, but she donated 50 lakhs to a temple. Okay, now what the temple people did, they kept her 100 feet cutout. 100 feet cutout of Shivani they kept. Okay, now thereby GST officers are going. They watched that cutout, who is she? Next MLA candidate or what she is like and all. They thought and they went. And they called temple authorities. Why you kept her hoarding? Okay, then they said like, sir, she is like, she given 50 lakhs as donation, sir. That's why we kept her hoarding there. And immediately they sent a notice. You took 50 lakhs to the temple authorities. You took 50 lakhs and doing promotional service. Promotion, advertising, branding, this kind of service you are doing. So that 50 lakhs is a supply they are asking. Okay. supply of service, and they are questioning like it is a supply. But then temple authorities said like, sir, no, sir, we are not promoting her. We wanted to express our gratitude for what? Her philanthropic activity. Philanthropic activity means what? Donating and all will come under philanthropic activity. To tell her generosity to the public and inspire others also to do such kind of thing. We are doing such promotion. We are no way intending to promote her or her business. Our intention is to express gratitude, okay, and give recognition to her act of philanthropic activity and to tell the public about her generous nature. That's our main intention. One reason. Second reason they said is like, from Shivani perspective, sir, in any contract there will be consideration two ways. If I do something, you have to do something to me. Okay, so then that is called as what? Consideration. But here, she donated 50 lakhs to the temple. Okay, they kept 100 feet cutout, fine. But what if they took 50 lakhs, not even given a pulihara packet also? They took 50 lakhs, not given laddu also. Everyone in the street has been called for the temple opening, except her. Okay, they didn't even call her. They didn't even given any respect, nothing. They didn't even recognize her. She given 15 lakhs. But still, can she go to court and say like, I donated 50 lakhs, they don't even given me pulihara packet also? Or a laddu packet also, they didn't given me, I given 50 lakhs. Can she go and file a petition? No, right? That means she don't have any quid pro quo, no consideration at all. Okay? So if there is no consideration at all, if she doesn't have a legal right to do promotion or to ask something in the case of, or in the absence of doing something, then it is not a transaction, it is not a contract, it is not a supply. So that's what said. Such a display of name is an expression of gratitude and public recognition of donor's act of philanthropy, and it is not aimed at doing publicity to the donor. And the other one is what? There is no obligation or quid pro quo on part of recipient to do anything. Hence, it is not a supply. Sir, I little exaggerated and said about cutout and all. Usually they don't put cutout, but they'll put name plates, their photos. Okay, let's say she has constructed a like a particular room. Then for that room, they'll keep her photo, name, and say like photos. Na, then people gone, then they'll put photos. When they're alive, usually they'll keep names. Clarification on retreading of tires. So this is retreading. What on a old tire, they'll scratch it. I mean, they'll make the surface rough again, and they'll attach a new rubber layer so that the life of the tire can be extended for another 3-4 months. I mean, when they cannot afford buying a new tire, then they can go for what? Retreading. So okay, like this person, they are doing what? Attaching a new rubber layer. So you are a tire mechanic, you do retreading. I came up with my old tire to do retreading. So what do you have to do? You do like so in the childhood you have seen that puncture shop guy, to do puncture and all, he'll rub it, then he'll cut the pieces and tube piece and all, then he'll apply gum. The interesting process will be the red. Same way here also what he'll do, he will first fix the tire to this particular wheel, rotating wheel, then they'll rub it, okay, so that the surface will become rough, then they'll attach a new rubber layer, okay. So let's say this mechanic, my tire, old tire, I went to him, given the old tire, he did retreading. So now there is service involved and attaching this new layer of rubber, good also involved. What is this? Supply of good or supply of service? Which is main? This layer main or attaching that and doing that service main. Service is main, so it has to be treated as what? Supply of service. Sir, I don't have old tire also. I asked that fellow only. Yours only, you only look after some old tire and do retreading and sell it to me and give it to me. Then old tire plus retreading, service also he only did and given. But their main element is what? Retreading, good is predominant, so it has to be treated as what? Supply of good. Okay, na? If tire, my own tire, I taken it for retreading. He just added the extra layer and did the treading activity. Then it is what? Supply of service. Tire also belongs to him. I don't have any old tire also. Okay, so then he only did everything on the old tire and given it to me. Then it is what? Supply of good. Then bus body building. Not normal body building, sir. Bus body. Okay. See, when you buy a new bus, sir, it comes only with the chassis. All these travel buses. Sir, if you didn't ever got a doubt. School buses, they'll be most of the buses will be standardly same shape, same colors. Cars you see, so whichever the model car you go, they'll be standard colors, 3 or 4. But when you look at these buses, every color on the planet will be there on the buses. Orange color will be there, white will be there, blue will be there, pink will be there, red will be there, green will be there, yellow will be there. Different combination of colors also will be there. Why? Because the manufacturer will sell the chassis separately, and they'll chassis that engine part and the basic chassis. Let me show you the chassis also. So, okay, this is called chassis, okay, with the steering. This one. They'll sell this way, like chassis. No outer body is built. Then they'll take it for what? Bus body building. Now this body building people, what they do? They'll use wood, iron, metal, whatever is needed, and they'll construct the outer body, paint everything as per your requirement. So chassis owned by you. You bought chassis and given it for bus body building, and they did the body building. So while doing that, they use goods as well as service, which is main. Service. Bus body building has to be treated as service. But second option, chassis also they only have to give. They only buy chassis, they'll construct the bus body and then give it to you. Then it is what? Supply of good. Just like retreading logic only. Sir, come to the last but one page. What does this clarification means? Sir, you are a policy holder. You took vehicle insurance, car, truck, some vehicle insurance you took. Insurance company covered. Your truck or your car got damaged. It was hit with an accident. It was severely damaged. Now, who has to compensate you? Insurance company has to compensate you. Now, what it did? Insured vehicles for damage, either they'll get it repaired or they'll compensate the insured person. Policy holder used to pay what usually? Pays premium. Then salvage. Salvage, that scrap value of that car. Sir, car completely destroyed. Nothing is there. Okay, luckily you jumped from the car, so nothing happened to you, but the car completely damaged. Nothing is useful also. Now what about that salvage? Salvage, that scrap value. From claim amount, the subtracted salvage value, sir, let's say, sir, car completely damaged. For car, you took insurance for 18 lakhs. Okay, now actually insurance company has to pay you how much? 18 lakhs. But when you sell that scrap, you will get 1 lakh. Now if insurance company pays you only 17 lakhs, then who is the owner of salvage? You only the owner of salvage because you got 17 lakhs. From claim amount 18 lakhs, salvage value 1 lakh got subtracted. Then salvage value remains with the insured only. So no supply of salvage. Okay, it's your car. The car destroyed, salvage is also with you only. So it is not a supply. But here, settles claim for insured declared value. 18 lakhs they paid without deducting salvage value. 18 lakhs they paid. Sir, once they pay 18 lakhs, then that scrap does not belongs to you. That scrap part belongs to whom? Insurance company. In such case, salvage becomes property of insurance company. When the insurance company subsequently dispose that salvage, insurance company is liable to pay GST because it became owner of the salvage. Are you able to understand, sir? Then, next one, sir. Sir, I am a bank. I give loan to outsiders. And even my subsidiary also came. I'm a bank, I give loans. My subsidiary also came for loan, others also came for loan. Now actually what I do means, sir, if someone comes for loan, will you give it directly? So what process has to be done? Let's say you are the bank. I came for you to loan. What you think or what processes you'll ask? I didn't understand. Tell anything, whatever comes to your mind, you tell. You are a bank. I'm an applicant. What you'll ask to give me loan? CIBIL score you'll check. So what CIBIL score determines actually? What CIBIL score reflects? My repayment capability, my track record, everything is captured in CIBIL score. Then, okay, my CIBIL score is good. I'm asking 70 lakhs loan. Will you give a? Income proof is also there, sir. Sir, you do ratio analysis. What is my current ratio? What is my turnover to net worth? Okay, because, sir, my net worth is 30 lakhs. I'm asking you to give 1 crore loan. Will you give a? Why you will not give? Because you know that I don't, if something happens negatively, I don't have the repaying capacity also. You will do that, right? To do that, normal bank employee can do that. No. There is a separate chartered accountant or cost accountant hired by the bank who will do all this. Credit manager is called as. He do all this analysis and he will testify and he will ultimately decide whether loan can be given to this person or not. So before they sanction loan, some 15-20 days this process only will happen. Okay, let's say, sir, their loan got rejected. Now for all this 15 days work done, it's a loss to bank, right? That's why banks usually ask what? You came for loan, right? First pay processing charges. Because otherwise afterwards, you are not ineligible to loan. All the work we did is going for waste. That's why first pay processing charges. Let's say 20,000 you paid as processing charges. Then our team will start processing your application. Okay, then after 10 days, after checking all the points, they may decide whether you are eligible for loan or not eligible for loan. Let's say you are not eligible. The 20,000 will not be refunded to you. Understand? Sometimes banks may waive off this processing charges also. They know certainly that I'll get loan. By looking at the face also, they believe like this fellow anyhow get loan, or I'm a privileged customer. So that's why they have waived off what? Privilege charges. It's okay, this is one thing. Second one, my subsidiary came for loan. So do I need to check more about my subsidiary? I know everything about my subsidiary. So directly I know whether my subsidiary can repay or not. That's why what I did, for subsidiary I didn't took any processing charges. Whereas for outsiders, I may take processing charges. Sometimes I may waive off also. Now what they are saying means, understand this point clearly. With unrelated person, I am collecting processing charges. With related persons, I am not collecting processing charges. They are invoking schedule 1 and saying like there is a service between related persons and distinct persons without collecting consideration of processing charges. So assume that processing charges is there and treat it as supply they are asking. Okay, that's the question they asked. Are you able to understand, sir? From outsider I am collecting processing charges, but sometimes I waive off also. But for my related person, obviously I will not collect because I know already whether he can pay or not, or everything, every data of him is available with him. So see, supplier processing fees from borrower and these are non-refundable. To related person, credit assessment may not be necessary, hence administrative costs are absent. Sir, first here, why I am not collecting processing charges with my related person? Because I need not to do any calculations and all. No cost at all for me. That's why I am not collecting any charges. Okay, credit assessment may not be necessary. Hence, administrative costs are absent. Even unrelated person also, certain times administrative costs may be wiped off. Hence, we cannot invoke 7 subsection 1 clause C. Okay, that processing charges. Sir, if you charge processing charges, then fine. Even though they didn't charge, you cannot assume or deemed processing charges you cannot bring here. So it is not a supply. If any interest element is there, now it is exempt. Admin cost not charged actually, hence it is not a supply. With related to unrelated, assessment needed, administrative cost like processing fee will be there. So from unrelated, if any processing charges collected, that is supply. But interest element is exempted. From related person, interest element exempted, processing charges not yet collected, hence it is not even a supply. Sir, where any foreign company, sir, you are working in Accenture India, you know Accenture, or you are working in Capgemini, or you are working in Cognizant, all these are software companies, okay, majorly. They have their holding companies outside India. They have their holding companies outside India. In India, what the companies they are having are like private limited companies. Accenture Private Limited, okay, Cognizant Private Limited. The holding companies are like foreign companies which might be trading in the NASDAQ or any other stock exchange. Now for employees, they'll give ESOP, employee stock options and all. Now you are employee of actually Indian subsidiary, but for you ESOP are not given in this Indian subsidiary. ESOP is given in the foreign holding company. So foreign holding company allotted ESOP, employee stock purchase plan and all, revised restricted stock units to a employee of not their company. For their subsidiary company employee, they are giving these things. If for company charges additional amount or cost, to the extent of additional amount only it is GST. Okay, otherwise it is not a supply. Then come to this page, sir. Liquidated damages. In Pulsna, there will be like paras wise. So the problem with liquidated damages is, if you remember, go back to consideration definition, see consideration definition once and come back. Consideration definition, read it completely and come back once. Consideration definition. Sir, you learned consideration. The last part of consideration is what? There is second part also for consideration definition. Any amount paid for forbiddance to do an act, not doing an act, restraining to do an act is also called as what? Consideration. Tolerating an act, something did to you, to tolerate that you are taking money, tolerating an act, restraining to do an act. Sir, you have been removed from the board of directors. You have to tolerate it. For that they are paying compensation. That is also called as what? Consideration. So now this whole clarification is about such kind of damages. Okay, na? So what they are saying, damages. Sir, when you pay usually damages, when some loss happened to you, then to compensate that, damages has been paid. Can it be referred as tolerating an act, for that amount is paid, so it is service for tolerating an act, amount has been paid. Can it be treated as supply of service is the question. Sir, able to understand my question? What is called tolerating an act? Sir, I started, okay, you have watched a Hollywood movie called Fight Club. Anybody of you? No? Okay, if you have time, watch one of the classic, it is Fight Club. So there, simple thing. Hero starts a club where all the people who are coming, having with frustration will come there. Okay, now your frustration has to go out now. So two people will come into rig. That fellow also having so much of frustration, he is also having frustration. Now the both will hit like anything hell. It's not you are having some grudge on this person. You are having somewhere, okay, that frustration you will release here. It's okay, you'll until you get normal, you will both will be hitting all, you will remove all your frustration there. So that's called actually the fight club. It's okay, they'll go on fight with any people. That's the storyline of the people. See there, let's say I started such kind of club and collecting from you, okay, I hired 2 or 3 people, whatever frustration you have, you come there, you show your frustration, pay and go. Even recently also I have seen, sir, actually, where they made it as a place like what? It's okay, there they'll give you so many, it's a place where you go there some, what? Ideals kind of will be kept there. You can write the name of a person on whom you are having that frustration, grudge and all, then there will be lot of things available. There is a glass bottle available. You want to hit with glass bottle, 50 rupees. Okay, if you want to hit with that with a stick or something, then 100 rupees. Like that, they have kept prices and all. All this is for what? Tolerating. See, you do lot of damage there. All that they are tolerating for a consideration. So it has to be treated as what? Supply of service. Same way, sir, a lorry came. Okay, there is a turning, but a lorry didn't took turning. It came directly and parked in your house. Okay, lorry directly came and parked in your house. Now damage happened. Okay, again, luckily you are not there that time, but the lorry was parked safely in the house. Now they are paying damages. Is it also tolerating? Are you okay with it? Okay, the lorry guy is saying like, whenever I feel like parking, I will come and park, not normal parking. Okay, gate, wall, everything collapsed and directly came into the hall, and in hall his truck was kept there. So will it be allowed? So there also damage happened. He will pay compensation. There also will you tolerate that? No. So what is called tolerating? If you are okay with it or not is the question. Okay, are you accepting that? You are fine with it. Even if you do once again, that decides whether it is a supply or not. Second one, is there a contract? Okay, how it can be said? Sir, whether you are okay or not, how it can be done? It can be decided based on contractual agreement. It could be expressed or implied. Sir, expressed, writtenly it was mentioned. Okay, if any damage happens to me, if any loss happens to me, you need to pay me damages. Like that, a written agreement is there. One thing. Second one, even though nothing is written, impliedly, considering the nature of contracts, that is something implied. So either explicitly or impliedly, if there is a willingness to accept damages and tolerate it, then it can be called as what? Supply. If there is no express or implied willingness to tolerate it and to take consideration, then it is not a supply. But it cannot be done such generally. There are specific cases also which we are going to see. But in general, When can liquidated damages can be called as supply? When there is an explicit, express or implied willingness to accept such loss and to take the compensation and go, then it comes under what? Liquidated damages. It will be treated as a supply. Understand, sir? See, first one, check dishonor charges. Sir, you given a check bounced, then bank will do what? Check dishonor charges will be levied by bank. So now, can it be taken as tolerating an event? Sir, when you present a check, it has to be honored, right? But the check became dishonored. That's why the person who took the check, okay, sir, with lot of expectation, he presented in bank that he is thinking he'll get money and all, he is thinking of so many things. But then ultimately check got what? Dishonored. Then obviously he'll get frustrated. Why? Because he thought money is already received, but the check got dishonored. So he levied you 5,000 penalty on you. Will it be considered as tolerating an act? Sir, it's not tolerating. Understand? Why he is levying penalty then? He is levying penalty just ensuring that you should not do the same thing once again. He is not okay with what you did already. But then why he is levying penalty? He is levying penalty to stop you or discourage you from doing the same thing once again. So for check dishonor charges, there is no express or implied willingness to tolerate. So penalty while levied not to discourage. Hence it is not a supply. Then penalty is levied for violation of law. Okay, sir, one day Mandi drink full chilled water. Okay, chilled, 2 full bottles of chilled water he has taken. And then on road, he's going like anything, he's thinking like he's going straight only. But the constable or the traffic police who is observing there, no, how he is going. Okay, he's like going this, like this is going. But he feels like inside he's going straight only, the water effect. Okay, chilled water effect, he is going thinking like straight. Now obviously what the police people will do? They'll check him and they'll levy a penalty on him. So just because he paid penalty, does the police are saying like, is it okay? You can drink how much ever water you want. You can go how much ever, however the way you want, you can go. Is that any acceptance there? Is there any tolerating that act? No, there is no tolerating that act. Then why they are levying penalty? To discourage him not to do the same thing again. It's okay. So penalty here levied is to discourage, not to tolerate. Okay. Again, it is also not a supply. But then late payment and surcharge or fee. Sir, electricity bill, you delayed. Telephone bill, you delayed. Or any this kind of bills, you delayed. Then they will be levying certain late fees. There, what they are saying means, across the world, they are okay with, okay, let's say that by 21st you need to pay electricity bill. But you are paying it on 28th, 29th. Immediately on 22nd, they are not disconnecting. They'll wait for another 10-15 days also. So for collecting what? By collecting late payment. So what they observed means, in case of these service providers and all, accepting late payment became a norm. It's not something special or something to discourage. So they are okay with, okay, you have to pay by 21st. If you don't pay by 21st, then pay something extra. So that became a norm there. Impliedly, not expressly, sir, impliedly, there is a willingness to tolerate. That's why what they are saying, like, it is an auxiliary supply, that late payment collected. That also is taxable, treated as a supply along with the original principal supply. Then cancellation charges. What is cancellation charges? Let's say you booked a bus ticket through Abibus, Red Bus or something. You booked a bus ticket 15 days before only you booked. Okay, then the ticket price is 2,000 rupees. You booked the bus ticket. Then just 1 day before the scheduled journey, you cancel the ticket. Now they didn't refund you 2,000. They refunded only some 1,400. 600 has been taken as cancellation charges. So now what is this cancellation charges? Is it supply or is it tolerating? Sir, here they explained it in a completely different way and said like what? See, they already did a part of service. That's why 600 rupees is supply. Sir, transport not even started, na. Travel not yet started. Na. What service they have provided? Why it has to be treated as supply? The explanation they given is, see, that the service they offered you is not just mere transportation. Sir, mere transportation, na, they'll ask you to sit on the top of the bus and they'll tie to you with a rope also. Is it that also called as what? Transportation only. So they didn't merely promise you that they'll do transportation. They promised you in the seat convenient to you, they will transport. Okay? So it's not just mere transportation, it's even providing you the convenience also. Till day, they have reserved the ticket for you. They have reserved the seat for you. So that means already from the day you booked the ticket till the date of cancellation also, reserving that seat is a service provided to you. Understand, sir? Are you able to understand? So already a part of service is provided. So cancellation charges has to be treated as supply or the value for the service which is already provided. That holding the seat till then, that also has to be treated as what? Supply, and taxed at the what price the transportation is taxable. The same rate has to be applied on the cancellation charges also. Okay. Then for feature of salary or payment of bond value on leaving before agreed period. So these days, all the PSUs or most of the companies are asking you to execute a bond. What? Sir, if you join as a fresher, even though knowledge you have, especially, okay, maybe at least CACMAs will have some practical knowledge. Majority like this BTech students and all, what they have is only book knowledge. When a company hires them, they need to do so much of training to them, then only they can be useful to the company. The company do all the training for 1 year, 1.5 years, this fellow will immediately leave the company and go to some other company. So cost to the first company, benefit to the next company. That's why they are saying like, okay, for first 1 year loss only, if you take you, because training has to be done. Second year break even. Third year only from you I'll get some return. That's why majority companies are keeping a bond kind of 3 years. That you need to execute a bond stating like, I'll work with you for a period of minimum 3 years. Otherwise I'll pay you 5 lakhs and go. There's a bond value fixed. 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs like that, depending on company. So what you are saying when you are joining, I'll work for 3 years. Otherwise I'll pay you that bond value and leave. Now the question is, paying that bond value by the employee, is it amounts to supply? Sir, again, the explanation is simple. No company is okay with that employee is leaving. Okay, why they are collecting that penalty or bond related charges and all? Because if such a terms are kept, at least he get discouraged to leave the organization. It's not like they are okay with, okay, you are leaving, fine, pay 5 lakhs. I'm okay with getting 5 lakhs. I'm not bothered about you leaving or not. If you are leaving, pay 5 lakhs. That's not the intention of company. The employer intention is what? By putting these kind of terms, at least the employee gets discouraged to leave. So it's for discouragement, not to tolerate that event. That's why it is also not a supply. Understand, sir? So this is about what? These damages, compensations paid. We need to check the intention, either expressly or impliedly. If they are willing to tolerate it, then it is a supply. They don't have any intention to tolerate it. They are only doing that to discourage that person. Hence it is not a supply. Okay, na, sir? So we have 1 or 2 clarifications still pending. And tomorrow in the first session, we'll complete those 1 or 2 clarifications. We'll do questions also, sir. We need not to do each and every question from supply. It's okay, sir, understand. Supply question will come under 2A slot. There they are asking theory question only, not a case study kind of question. In 8B, sometimes there may be a supply related question also. There they may ask related to these clarifications and all. Mostly in 2A, they'll ask a simple question, straight question like, what is composite supply, mixed supply? What is schedule 1? What is schedule 3? Write about supply. Write about related person and distinct person. Like that descriptive questions only they gonna ask. So in supply, we need not to do or spend much time on problems also. We'll do some composite mixed supply questions, some theory questions. It's okay, some 10, 12 questions if you solve from supply, then it's going to be enough for supply. So tomorrow first session we'll complete supply. Then from second session we'll be going into charge and composition. Okay, once we complete charge and composition, then we'll move to exemptions. Sir, and remember, sir, from tomorrow there won't be YouTube live. It will be through the app, BCCA app only. Sir, we'll start our next session at 10:15. 9:30 it is already. We'll start at 10:15. Okay.